This Top 10 is brought to you by Blue Apron, the service that delivers fresh ingredients and easy-to-follow recipes right to your door. If you're like me and spend way too much money eating out, Blue Apron gives you the option for top-notch meals you can cook right from home for less than $10 per meal per person. I mean, that's how much money I spend whenever I feed my burrito addiction. But you'll love how easy it is to create incredible home-cooked meals with Blue Apron. Like the 3 cheese and baby broccoli stromboli with tomato and oregano dipping sauce. Try out Blue Apron today and get your first 3 meals free with free shipping by heading to blueapron.com/top10. That's blueapron.com/top10. Nobody bakes you cookies, bandages your scraped knees, or sings you to sleep quite like good old mom. And because it's Mother's Day soon, we figured this would be a great time to honor 10 awesome moms who don't exist, but we wish they did.
Wait. It's worst moms.
What did you just say to me?
It's top 10 worst moms.
Oh. The opposite of what I just told you. Hey, I'm Nervous Nick for Screw Attack's Top 10 Worst Moms.
Number 10.
If there's one important part of parenting in the event of a zombie apocalypse, it's knowing where your kids are at all times. Seriously, how is this not just built into our DNA? Lori Grimes of The Walking Dead must have missed the memo, because from the start of season 1, she's been losing track of Carl over and over and over and over again. Frankly, the kid's just lucky that he wasn't eaten with how many times Lori's left him without a weapon. She actually tried to take a gun away from Carl when everyone finally realized that maybe, just maybe, him having a weapon could save his life. To be honest, the problem isn't just that Lori's absent-minded. It's that she keeps trying to dump the responsibility for Carl onto everyone else. Excuse me, could you watch Carl for a second? Yeah, sure, Lori. Where are you going? Oh, nothing really. I'm just gonna go have sex, and then when I'm giving birth, I'm gonna die, so that all you guys have to take care of 2 kids. See you later. Mother of the Year, everyone.
Number 9.
When Lori's son wants to go venturing off into a world inhabited by monsters, she doesn't want Carl to do that. But in DELIA KETCHUM's world of monsters, she's a little bit too eager for her son to leave the house. Parents, when your 10-year-old tells you he wants to set out on his own in the world to go catch monsters, you tell him no! But for DELIA, it's almost as if she wanted Ash out of the way so she could live her life free of being a single parent, making her a more appealing lover to a famous local professor.
What are you doing here? Ah!
Hi, Ash. Surprised to see me too?
Mom, how come you 2 are here?
We'll explain that later.
We'll explain that.
We'll explain that later.
Or maybe she really does like gardening. I don't know, it's one of the 2. In addition, she knowingly allows Ash to square off against the terrorist group Team Rocket, and she's just fine with this. And on top of it all, she ended up replacing Ash with a Mr. Mime named Miney, which is really creepy and weird.
Number 8.
When your mother is a homicidal planet-eating monster factory from outer space, she's gonna make the list. JENOVA from the world of Final Fantasy is the mother of everyone's favorite boy band wannabe, Sephiroth. As a part of Project JENOVA, Sephiroth received his mother's cells as an infant and became a born and bred super soldier. But the family tree gets a lot weirder from there because Cloud is a failed clone of Sephiroth, so that makes him like her stepson, kind of? But that means every time you were chasing after your brother Sephiroth, he was sending your mom's body parts after you to beat you and your friends up. And she was cool with that. As a parent, you're not supposed to pick favorites, and we get it, Sephiroth is like everything a terrifying monster wants in a son. But you've got this spiky-haired kid over here riding motorcycles and hanging out with a rough crowd. I think he just needs a hug from his mom. Is that cat dog thing missing an eye?
Number 7.
So we all know that General Zod and his lackeys were banished to the Phantom Zone for being douches. But what you may not know is that while in prison, URSA and Zod did the hanky-panky to make a Shadow Zone baby named Lord Zod. Lord didn't lead much of a charmed life, spending his early years being abused by his villainous mother and eventually being used as a means to help her escape. Yep, URSA gave birth to a door. But by the time URSA arrived on Earth, Lord Zod had become adopted by the very people she hated most, Lois and Clark Kent. And they were great parents, until mean old mom had to take that away from him too by locking Superman in the Phantom Zone and beating up Lois right in front of her own son. When Lex Luthor figured out a way to have the Phantom Zone suck up all the escaped inmates, the super stepson happily sacrificed himself in order to help put his deadbeat mom back behind bars. So, you know, if that's any indication of how terrible Ursa was as a mother.
Number 6.
Surprising abso-freaking-lutely no one of the worst moms out there is the leader of ISIS. No, bring up the other one from Archer. Thank you, yes, that. It's Sterling Archer's mother, Mallory, okay? So, Mallory Archer gave birth to her son in a bar, which honestly tells you everything you need to know about her, but it gets worse. See, Mallory was deep in the spy game when Sterling came around, so she abandoned her newborn to the bartender for the next 5 years, and even when she did come around, it kind of went like this.
I don't have a mother, and if I did, I'd hate her!
Listen, nobody said that running a spy agency and raising a child would be easy, but come on, lady! Like, let's face it, Woodhouse was a much better parent anyway. And if you think that's dark, you may want to brace yourself for the rest of this list.
What the hell good are you?
Number 5.
Mystique. Easily one of our favorite anti-heroes, but not one of our favorite moms. Twice she has gone to abandon her little offspring, and each time, karma has come back to collect. First, you have the tragic Kurt Wagner, aka Nightcrawler. When Mystique got it on with Azazel and gave birth to a demon baby, the townspeople wanted none of that, so Mystique threw her own baby off a friggin' waterfall. The only thing that might somehow be worse is Graydon Creed, who came from a fling with Sabretooth. But unlike his parents, Graydon was not born a mutant, a fact that Mystique hated so much that she abandoned him as well. When Graydon grew up and learned the truth, he became a leader of various organizations which all promoted mutant genocide until Mystique traveled back in time to assassinate her own son. And then there was that one time she adopted Rogue, but don't even get me started on that.
Number 4.
It's a mother's job to raise her child and protect them from harm. However, it's also their job to let the kid learn a few lessons on their own and give them a realistic idea of what the world's like. Norma Bates is the embodiment of overprotective, selfish coddling that, in her case, not only creates a serial killer, but also keeps him on the streets. Norma's own need for Norman in her life leads Norman down the path of mental illness to a point that is just sickening. She spent years telling Norman that they were the same person and that they only needed each other, which created the psychotic personality that Norman taps into whenever it's murder time. Norma is extremely jealous and tries to destroy any meaningful relationships that Norman creates, even after her own death. And if you learn nothing else about the Bates family, just realize that one of the most recognizable murder scenes in movie history is thanks to Norma's terrible parenting.
Number 3.
Look, it's tough to be a kid sometimes. We all get that. You only get to do whatever it is your parents let you do, and let's face it, that's pretty lame. So the desire for Coraline Jones to escape to another world is completely understandable. But when that world is comprised of button-eyed monsters like Other Mother, I think you might need a better escape there, Coraline. Sure, it feels like home away from home, complete with perfect dinners, bedtime stories, and a movie theater filled with dogs? What is this movie? But it's not what you think, Coraline. In fact, it's anything but perfect, as I'm pretty sure Other Mother is just fattening you up to be eaten. This Other Mother is an interdimensional being known as the Beldam, who's been eating children's souls since the early 1800s. She lures kids into the otherworld using dolls and then sews buttons into their eyes. So all things considered, having some lame parents, maybe not that bad after all.
Number 2.
Speaking of monsters, Queen of the Iron Throne and ruler of Westeros, for now, Cersei Lannister is one of the worst when it comes to parenting her children. But before we run down the list of her transgressions, there will be spoilers. I'm not kidding. Mute this video, skip to the time code that you see right now if you don't want Game of Thrones spoilers, okay? We warned you. First off, you know things are off to a weird start when your kids are the product of incest. Second, she's Joffrey's mom. Joffrey! Arguably one of the most heartless creatures to inhabit the universe, whose bad parenting leads to an untimely death. And third, she allowed her daughter Myrcella to be traded as political leverage, which also led to her death. And finally, there's baby Tommen, who eventually assumes his rightful place on the throne as the last Baratheon, but his rule is short-lived when his queen is blown up by Cersei, and then he decides to take his own life. It's gonna be a good day, ladies and gentlemen. A good day indeed when Cersei Lannister dies. I hope Daenerys rides a friggin' dragon up to her bedroom and tortures Cersei in her sleep, but like slowly, rotisserie style, you know? So she feels it a lot.
It's number 1.
So many messed up things for a mom. Ragio Kuryuin is the main antagonist of Kill la Kill and is easily the worst mother in this top 10. Well, for starters, she manipulated one of her daughters into trying to help her take over the world, exiled another daughter after killing that girl's father, but those things can easily be overlooked compared to the worst thing. The real reason Ragio is on this list is because she crosses a line that no other mother on this list would dare approach, not even Cersei. And that's because, on more than one occasion, I'm just gonna say it, Ragio would fondle and sexually assault her own daughters. That's messed up, man. I don't want to watch that. I don't even want to think about that. In fact, I'm glad I'm just safely inside this voiceover booth so I can talk about this horrible act without having to look at it myself. But I suppose we can all find at least a little bit of solace with the knowledge that Ragio committed seppuku when her daughters defeated her in the end. And after all she's done, I say good riddance. Our secret number 11 is Kate McAllister from Home Alone, because when the whole family's getting in the van screaming, "Sit next to me! No, sit next to me!" How are you gonna forget one of them before heading to the airport? Mind you, she did this not once, but twice. Oh, and look at how the kid turned out. Well, thanks for never forgetting me, Mom. I love you.